Welcome back to another episode of Valuable Coins, where we dive deep into the world of numismatics, uncovering the most valuable and unique coins in the market today. If you're a coin enthusiast, collector, or simply interested in the incredible value of rare coins, you're in the right place. In today's video, we will explore two of the most fascinating and expensive United States coins currently circulating the auction market.
First up, we're going to explore an interesting coin from the USA, the 1949 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny with an S mint mark. But this isn't just any coin. We're specifically looking at examples that are in damaged condition and what they're actually worth in today's market. If you're a collector or just curious about rare pennies, stick around because this could surprise you. First, let's set the stage. The Lincoln Wheat penny, minted from 1909 through 1958, is one of the most popular and historically significant coins in the United States. The 1949 penny was produced at three mints: Philadelphia, No Mint Mark, Denver, D Mint Mark, and San Francisco, S Mint Mark. The S Mint Mark, found just below the date, indicates this coin was struck at the San Francisco Mint now. You might be wondering why a 1949 penny with an S Mint mark is notable. While 1949 isn't an extremely rare year, the S Mint coins are a bit less common than Philadelphia pennies. However, the real question we're answering today is about coins in damaged condition. What does that mean? And how much is that coin really worth? Damage on coins can come in many forms: heavy scratches, corrosion, holes, cleaning marks, bends, or environmental damage. Unfortunately, these conditions reduce a coin's collector value significantly. But that doesn't mean the coin is worthless. Even damaged Lincoln pennies have a market value, especially if the coin is an older date or from a less common mint. In numismatics, coins are graded from poor to mint state based on their condition. A damaged coin generally falls into the poor to fair category, meaning much of the original detail is lost. For a 1949 S penny, even in this condition, there's still some value because it's a collectible. Looking at recent market trends, a 1949 S Lincoln Wheat penny in damaged condition typically sells for anywhere between $30,000. Yes, that's right. While pristine versions can fetch much higher, damaged coins still hold modest value above face. If your coin is bent, scratched, or has corrosion, it's unlikely to ever reach high collector grades. But don't be discouraged. Damaged coins like this can still be great teaching tools for beginners or interesting additions to a collection focused on date and mint mark varieties. For comparison, a 1949 S penny in excellent condition can range from $50,000 or more depending on the color and luster. But once damage is involved, the price drops sharply. So, to sum it up, the 1949 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny with an S mint mark in damaged condition isn't going to make you rich, but it still holds some value for collectors and coin enthusiasts, typically between $60,000. Its worth depends heavily on the extent and type of damage. The 1988 Lincoln 1-cent coin, with a large date and the Denver D mint mark, specifically in fine condition. You might be wondering, is this penny valuable? Could it be worth more than face value? Let's find out. The Lincoln cent has been a staple of U.S. coinage since 1909, created to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It originally featured wheat ears on the reverse, then transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959, where it remained until 2008. The 1988 Lincoln cent belongs to the Lincoln Memorial era, and it was produced by the Billions at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. This one comes from Denver, marked with a small D under the date. While most 1988 Lincoln cents have a standard large date, some collectors are still on the lookout for variations. Large date refers to the size and spacing of the numerals in the year. It's more common than a small date, which in 1988 is not a major error or variety, but it's still important to be aware of the difference. So what does fine condition mean? For a 1988 D penny, in coin grading, fine is a mid-range circulated grade. It means the coin shows moderate wear, but retains most of the design detail. You'll still see Lincoln's profile clearly, though the finer lines in his hair and jacket might be worn down. In fine condition, there may be some discoloration or minor scratches, but nothing that seriously damages the coin's integrity. Now, for the big question, what is a 1988D Lincoln penny with a large date in fine condition worth in today's market? Because the 1988D penny had a high mintage, over 5.2 billion coins were produced, it is considered very common. In fine condition, its typical market value ranges from 1 cent, face value, up to about 10 cents, depending on demand and whether the buyer is filling a spot in their collection. While this coin isn't rare or highly valuable on its own, it still plays an important role for collectors, especially those putting together complete Lincoln Memorial sets. A clean 1988D with a large date and consistent patina makes for a solid example in circulated collections. If you're holding on to coins like this for the long term, avoid cleaning them. Use coin flips or cardboard 2x2 holders to protect them from moisture and friction. Even coins worth a few cents can become part of a larger, more valuable set later on. Good question, are there rare 1988 Lincoln pennies? Actually, yes. One of the most notable is the 1988 reverse of 1989 error, where a small number of 1988 pennies were struck with a reverse die meant for 1989. These can sell for $10 into 50 pesos, depending on condition. If you think your 1988D has that error, check. For the FG initials near the base of the memorial, their position is the main clue. That's a whole different level of value. Next up, your go-to source for everything related to U.S. coins and coin collecting. Today, we're diving into the story, value, and market insights around one of the more underappreciated, yet still collectible, Lincoln wheat pennies, the 1950 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with an S mint mark in fine condition. You might just have one of these in your pocket change or coin jar, and you'll be surprised to find out what it's worth today. Let's get started. The Lincoln wheat penny, officially known as the Lincoln cent, was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor D. Brenner, it was the first regular issue U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. The reverse featured 2 wheat ears, symbolizing national prosperity, in 1950. The U.S. Mint produced Lincoln wheat pennies at 3 facilities: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. The coin we're talking about today was minted in San Francisco, and you can identify it by the small s beneath the date. In total, over 118 million 1950 S Lincoln wheat pennies were struck, which makes it fairly common compared to key dates, like the 1909 SVDB. However, condition plays a major role in determining a coin's market value, especially for post-World War II wheat cents. Let's talk about condition, specifically what we mean by fine condition, which is a grade defined by most coin grading services. A coin in fine, F12 condition, will have moderate to considerable wear, but the major details like Lincoln's profile, the date, and wheat stalks are still clearly visible, though not sharp. This is a mid-range grade, better than heavily worn coins, but far from uncirculated. A coin in fine condition might show flat areas on Lincoln's cheek and jaw, and the reverse wheat stalks may be worn down, but still visible. These coins are often found in circulation and beginner collections. So, what's it worth in today's market? As of 2025, the value of a 1950 S Lincoln wheat penny in fine condition typically falls between $275 and $400. That's right. While it's not a fortune, it's worth more than face value. If you happen to have multiple 1950 S pennies, especially in mid to high grades, they can fetch even more when sold as a group or as part of a full wheat penny set. Keep in mind that prices may vary slightly based on coin dealers, demand, and copper spot prices. Here's the thing, while the 1950s wheat penny in fine condition isn't exactly a rare coin, it still holds collector interest because it's over 70 years old, has an identifiable mint mark, and is part of a beloved series. If you're building a full Lincoln wheat penny collection, you'll absolutely need this one. And if you upgrade to higher grades like extremely fine or mint state, values can jump $500 or even more. Quick tip: never clean your coins. Cleaning a coin, even gently, can cause damage and significantly reduce its value. Instead, store it safely in a coin flip, cardboard holder, or a plastic capsule to preserve its condition and protect its surfaces from further wear. So, to recap, the 1950s Lincoln wheat penny, in fine condition, is a great find for new collectors. While it won't break the bank, it's worth more than its 1 cent face value and adds meaningful historical value to any collection. With a market value of 15 to 40 cents, it's a solid coin to hold on to, trade, or pass down. Next up today, we're taking a close look at the 1994 Lincoln penny, with a large date and no mint mark. If you have one in your collection, or maybe found one in your change, you might be wondering, what is it worth today, especially in good condition? Let's break it down. The Lincoln cent has been a constant in American currency since 1909, featuring Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse from 1959 until 2008. The 1994 penny is part of that classic Lincoln Memorial series. In 1994, pennies were primarily minted in Philadelphia. That's why coins without mint mark are from the Philadelphia Mint, since they didn't use mint marks on pennies then. In 1994, the U.S. Mint produced two varieties of pennies: the large date and the small date. The large date has bolder, taller numbers, with the 9 and 4 noticeably larger and more prominent than on the small date. Good condition is a lower circulated grade, where the coin has noticeable wear, but the main details, including Lincoln's profile and the date, are still visible. On a 1994 penny, this means the coin shows signs of use, but the design isn't completely worn away. The 1994 Lincoln penny is quite common. Billions were minted. As such, in good condition, the coin's value is typically just above face value. In fact, most 1994 pennies in good condition sell for between 1 and 5 cents today. They're fun to collect, but not considered rare or high value. While the standard 1994 large date penny in good condition is low in value, there are always exceptions if you find error coins like doubled dies, off-center strikes, or other minting anomalies. These errors can make even a common coin quite valuable, sometimes commanding prices from a few dollars to hundreds, depending on rarity. If you want to keep your pennies in the best shape, avoid cleaning them, handle them by the edges, and store them in acid-free holders or coin albums. This preserves their condition and any potential value. Next up, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of coin collecting. Today, we're focusing on a classic, the 1937 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, specifically in very fine condition. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just curious about the value of old pennies, stick around because this coin has some interesting stories and a nice value in today's market. The Lincoln wheat penny was first introduced in 1909, celebrating the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The coin features the famous Lincoln profile on the obverse and two wheat ears on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity. The 1937 penny was minted primarily at Philadelphia, which means no mint mark appears on the coin. In 1937, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 225 million Lincoln wheat pennies, making it a relatively common date compared to other years in the series. However, condition and grading make a huge difference in the coin's value. That's why today we focus on the very fine grade. So, what exactly is very fine condition? According to numismatic standards, a very fine VF coin shows moderate wear, on the high points but retains sharp details in the lettering and major design elements. For the 1937 penny, you'll still see clear outlines on Lincoln's hair, coat, and the W on 2. Next up, the 1964 Lincoln penny, with a large date and no mint mark, but here's the twist. The coin is in dirty condition. What does that mean for its value today? Let's find out. The Lincoln cent has been a staple of American coinage since 1909. By 1964, the penny was still featuring the classic Lincoln Memorial reverse design introduced in 1959. That year, pennies were minted primarily at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not place a mint mark on pennies at the time, so no mint mark means it's from Philadelphia. In 1964, the Lincoln penny was struck with two date styles, the large date and the small date. The large date variety has taller and more pronounced numbers compared to the small date. The large date has a more elongated 6 and a wider 4, making the date appear bigger overall. This is the more common variety in 1964 pennies. Knowing which variety you have can be important for collectors. Dirty condition refers to coins that have significant surface dirt, oxidation, or environmental damage. This can include dark spots, grime buildup, or surface corrosion that obscures details. While the coin is still collectible, its grade and value can be negatively impacted. Remember, cleaning coins improperly can further reduce their value. So, if your penny looks dirty, it's best to leave it alone and handle it carefully. Coins in dirty condition typically fall in the about good AG to good G grade range. In these grades, the coin shows heavy wear and surface problems, but the basic design and date remain visible. For our 1964 large date penny, this means the details like Lincoln's profile and the date might be faint or partially obscured by dirt. Now, what is a 1964 Lincoln penny large date with no mint mark worth in today's market if it's in dirty condition? Because the 1964 penny was minted in very large numbers, over 2 billion, and is common, its value in dirty condition, usually, remains close to face value, around 1 cent, or maybe just a few cents if a collector needs to fill a spot. While the coin itself might be low in value when dirty and worn, keep an eye out for any errors or unusual features like double dies, repunched dates, or off-center strikes, which can boost the value considerably. For example, certain rare errors on 1964 pennies can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But these are extremely rare compared to standard circulation coins. If you want to preserve the condition of your coins, avoid cleaning them, handle by the edges, and store them in acid-free holders or coin albums. This will keep them safe from further damage. Next up, we're exploring one of the more intriguing coins in the Lincoln Wheat Penny series, the 1951 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny with Denver mint mark, featuring a black color shade, and found in good condition. This coin isn't just a piece of history. It also holds value for collectors today. Let's dive into what makes this penny special and how much it's worth in the current market. The Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted from 1909 to 1958, showcasing Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile on the front and 2 stalks of wheat on the back, symbolizing prosperity. The year 1951 falls toward the later years of this series, and coins from this period were produced at 3 mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The D mint mark indicates this penny was minted in Denver, which is important for collectors, because mint marks can affect rarity and value. You might be wondering, what exactly is the black color shade? Unlike the bright reddish copper color that fresh pennies have, some older pennies develop a dark or even black patina due to oxidation over time. This natural darkening isn't damage. In fact, many collectors prize it as it indicates the coin has aged naturally without harsh cleaning. Now, about the coin's condition, this penny is in good condition. In coin grading terms, good means the coin is heavily worn, but the main details like the date, mint mark, and Lincoln's outline are still visible, although faint. It's a lower grade than fine or extremely fine, but it's still collectible. So, what's the value of a 1951 D Lincoln Wheat penny in black color shade and good condition? As of 2025, this coin typically sells for around $10,000 on the collector's market. While it isn't a high-value coin, it's worth more than face value and can be a nice addition to any collection. If you have a 1951 D penny or any wheat penny, handle it carefully. Avoid cleaning it yourself because improper cleaning can reduce its value. Store your coins in protective holders or coin albums to keep their condition intact. Even lower-value pennies like the 1951 D in good condition are important for collectors. They represent a piece of American history and help complete sets. Plus, some rare varieties or error coins from this year can be worth much more. Next up, the 1979 Lincoln 1-cent coin, featuring a large date and no mint mark, and we'll be talking about its value in very fine condition in today's market. The Lincoln cent made its debut in 1909, designed by Victor David Brenner to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. The wheat reverse was used until 1958, and then replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. The 1979 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. The back features the Lincoln Memorial, and if you look closely, you can see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside. You might notice your 1979 penny doesn't have a mint mark. Don't worry, that's completely normal. Coins without a mint mark were made at the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't add mint marks to Lincoln cents until 1980. In 1979, there were two varieties of date styles used on Lincoln cents: the large date and the small date. The large date is more common, especially on Philadelphia minted coins. You can tell the difference by looking at the 9 and 7 in the year. In the large date version, they appear taller and bolder. The large date variety is what we're focusing on today, and it's the most likely version you'll find in your change. Very fine is a mid-level circulated grade. In this condition, the coin shows moderate wear, but key details are still clear. You can see most of Lincoln's hair, his jawline is distinct, and the lettering is sharp. In today's market, this coin typically sells for between 5 and 15 cents, depending on demand and the buyer. While it's not rare, it's still worth up to 15 times its face value. If you happen to have a 1979 large date penny in uncirculated or mint state MS 65 plus condition, that's when the value starts to increase significantly, sometimes up to $5 to $15 or more, especially if it's graded by services like PCGS or NGC. Todd 1979 isn't known for major error varieties, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't check. Look out for things like off-center strikes, broad strikes, or die cracks. These can bump the value of even a common penny into the 10 to 50 plusers range. Quick tip: never clean your coins. It might seem like a good idea to make them shiny, but cleaning can scratch the surface and ruin the natural patina, reducing both the grade and the value. So, while the 1979 Lincoln penny with a large date and no mint mark may not be a rare coin, it's still a fun and affordable collectible. In very fine condition, it can fetch 5 to 15 cents. Not bad for something you might find in your change today. Next up, the 1952 Lincoln Wheat penny with D mint mark, specifically one in dirty or circulated condition. It may not look like much, but this little penny could still have some value. Let's dig into the details and find out how much it's really worth in today's market. The Lincoln Wheat penny was introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor D. Brenner, this was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. The obverse shows Lincoln's portrait, while the reverse features two stalks of wheat, giving the coin its nickname, the wheat penny. By 1952, the coin was already well established in American pockets. That year, Lincoln wheat pennies were minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver D, and San Francisco Ace. The coin we're covering today comes from the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D just below the date, the 1952 D. Lincoln. Wheat penny had a massive mintage of over 746 million coins, making it very common in terms of overall availability. It's not considered rare, but, like most coins, its value depends on condition, demand, and market trends. When we say a penny is in dirty condition, we're usually referring to a coin that has been heavily circulated. It may be covered in grime, oxidation, or environmental discoloration. These changes can make the coin look black, brown, or even greenish, but it's still collectible, especially if it's structurally intact. These coins often fall into the good to very good range on the grading scale, meaning heavy wear, but identifiable features like Lincoln's profile and the date. That's right, even in worn, dirty condition, the 1952 D penny typically sells for between 5 and 20 cents. It won't make you rich, but it's still 5 to 20 times its face value. And that's not bad for a coin that's over 70 years old. Here's a big tip. Never clean your coins. I know it's tempting, but cleaning, even with gentle methods, can scratch the surface or remove natural toning, lowering the coin's value. Collectors usually prefer coins in their original, untouched state. Want to find a 1952 D penny worth a few dollars or more? Then look for coins in uncirculated, mint state condition. These show no wear and retain their original red copper luster. Those coins can sell for anywhere from $80,000, depending on their grade. There are no major known varieties or errors specifically for the 1952 D penny, but keep an eye out for things like doubled dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks, which can raise the value significantly. So to sum it up, the 1952 D Lincoln wheat penny in dirty, circulated condition is a common but collectible coin, worth about $95,000 in today's market. While it may not seem like much, every coin tells a story, and for collectors, even a humble penny is a piece of history. Next up, the 1981 Lincoln penny with the large date and a D mint mark, specifically in fine condition. Is it worth more than a cent? Let's dive into the value, history, and everything else you need to know. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. By 1981, the reverse still featured the Lincoln Memorial, which had been part of the design since 1959. It was also the second to last year before a major composition change in 1982. In 1981, pennies were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. With Denver using the D mint mark, the 1981 penny comes in 2 varieties: large date and small date. On the large date, the numbers in the date appear thicker and bolder, with the tops of the 8 and 1 closer together and more rounded. If you hold the coin under a magnifier, the large date will be quite noticeable compared to the sharper, thinner small date version. The D mint mark below the date stands for the Denver Mint, which produced over 5.4 billion Lincoln cents in 1981. That makes the 1981 D penny fairly common, but collectors still look for high-grade and variety coins. In coin grading, fine or F condition means moderate wear is present, but major design elements are still clear. On a Lincoln penny, this includes clear visibility of Lincoln's face, hairline, and the date. Edges may be a bit worn, and the high points of the design can be smooth, but a fine-grade coin still holds collectible value. Because the 1981 D penny is quite common, its value in fine condition remains modest. Most sell for face value 1 cent, but in collector circles or bulk coin sales, they can go for a bit more. If you have a coin in fine condition with no errors or rare varieties, its individual market value is typically between 1 and 10 cents. It's not rare, but it's a cool historical piece, nonetheless. Some error coins from this year, like a double die obverse DDO or off-center strike, can fetch values from $25 to several $100s, depending on the error and condition. To wrap up, the 1981 D Lincoln penny with a large date in fine condition is a common and affordable coin with a value of about 1 to 10 cents. But it's a great addition for completing a Lincoln Memorial set, and always worth a closer look for possible errors. Thanks for joining me on today's Penny Deep Dive. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss future videos on rare and valuable coins. Have a 1981 penny story or found an interesting coin in your change? Drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you.